Several years ago, we found that there were some children that had tried certain energy drinks, and they felt pretty sick after drinking it. And some of them needed to come to the hospital. Some of them needed to be observed, had testing done, receive hydration. That prompted us to start looking into this in terms of why was that the case? What is the safety and what are the benefits of energy drinks? One of the things that resulted was when we looked, we started finding at poison control databases all around the world certain toxicities reported in association with energy drinks. We also found in the United States that the DAWN database that the US government maintains of emergency room visits showed there was an exponential increase in the number of emergency room visits related to energy drinks over the last decade approximately. That prompted the United States National Poison Database, which represents over 50 poison control centers throughout the United States that pool their data, that in October 2010, they decided they were going to track a new category of agents that they hadn't previously tracked, energy drinks. Over the course of 3 years, from 2010 to 2013, they received over 5,000 cases that they officially registered related to health concerns in humans for energy drink consumption. The rate of calls about concerns related to energy drinks across the United States National Poison Database has remained constant over the last 3 years. But even though we would normally think that more consumption would be by teenagers, college students, and young adults, we were actually surprised to find that over these 3 years, the majority of all of the recorded cases were in children less than 6 years old. And that normally would not be what you would expect. And these were recorded by the US National Poison Database as unintentional exposures. That means these 4-year-olds did not just go to the store and say, here's $3, I would like an energy drink. Rather, it may have been in the refrigerator at home. It might have been mom, dad, or sibling. The other thing is the packaging of these containers. Unlike medications that you know there might be a risk for children and they have child-safe tops, most of these do not even have screw tops, let alone child-safe tops. In many cases, you open them for one-time use. Having these sit around, if this is something that could be a problem for children, may not be the best way to avoid it, even if it's not intended for sale to children. We found that not only were the majority of reports throughout the United States relating to children less than 6, but we also found that oftentimes people say, well, it's the caffeine in it. And we only put the same amount of caffeine as you might find in a Starbucks coffee. And we don't think a Starbucks coffee would be particularly dangerous. As we compared when caffeine during the same period, the same database, calls came in and were recorded related to that amount of caffeine, not in an energy drink, how to compare to an energy drink, which by definition contains more than just caffeine. It contains other substances that will have effects on the body, whether it's taurine or ginseng or guarana or sugar or others. And what we found was that when the caffeine was in an energy drink as opposed to not, there was a suggestion that there was more severe, potentially life-threatening complications medically, and that the frequency was more common, and that cardiovascular problems were more common. The 3 most common areas of reported health effects were neurologic. So some people complained to the Poison Control Center that they were jittery, that they were confused, that they were irritable, that some had seizures. And these were all categorized, along with others, as part of the neurologic effects. There were also a number of gastrointestinal effects: nausea, vomiting, upset stomach. And then there was a high percentage that had cardiovascular effects: faster heart rates, tachycardia, higher blood pressures, very common in the reports that came in, but also even arrhythmias, dangerous heart rhythms. Then when we looked at the most severe classification as determined by the professionals at the poison control centers around the United States of a major effect on health, these were felt to be life-threatening effects for which somebody needed medical attention quickly. And in that group of patients related to energy drinks, more than 50%, the majority, I think it was 57%, were related to cardiovascular issues, including arrhythmias and high blood pressure that was really excessive. In the absence of any therapeutic benefit to taking this, the only acceptable risk is basically no risk. And we clearly found risk with over 5,000 reports in 3 years, and that is unacceptable.